We had the opportunity to visit with State Senator Kirk Dillard, who's a candidate for governor in the 2014 election. One of the candidates for the Republican nomination was in Effingham on Sunday night at the Fall Festival, which I think turned out well.
It turned out very well. In fact, there were folks from other than Effingham County there, and from the probably 10 or 12 surrounding counties. So it was a great crowd at the VFW Hall.
Yeah. And we had an opportunity to visit with him then, too, about some issues that we hope will be of interest to listeners in our area. We've talked before by phone, but this is the first time we had him with an opportunity to get him on camera and let you see how he responds to our questions as well as hear. So talk again. I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, but talk about why you decided to be in the race.
Sure. I have a unique background in state government. I was former Governor Jim Edgar's chief of staff, so I'm tested and prepared. And I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. I'm a product of the state of Illinois. I love this place. I think it's now or never for the future of our state economically. But my unique background, I have a proven track record of having run this state as well, according to Wall Street, as it's ever been run. In the Edgar administration, where I was the chief of staff, we inherited $1 billion deficit, but we left $1.5 billion surplus in the state treasury. It's been a long time since Illinois had a surplus, and we did it all without an income tax increase. We paid our state's bills in 17 days. And very importantly, don't take my word, Kirk Dillard's word for the administration was well done. Wall Street actually increased for the first time in Illinois history the credit rating of the state of Illinois when Jim Edgar was the governor. But the most important statistic from that era was our unemployment rate was well below the national average. Illinois has the second highest unemployment rate in the United States of America. That's shameful. We are the capital of the Midwest, folks. We are the agriculture, industrial, and cultural capital. We're the crossroads of America. And for us to be dead last, having an unemployment rate of more than double that of Iowa, is unacceptable. And then very importantly, I know how to get a Democrat-controlled legislature from Chicago to do things it's not in its DNA to do, like live within its means. And Greg, it was a Chicago-dominated legislature back then, had $1.5 billion surplus, made major changes in welfare, and I know how to get a Democrat legislature to live within its means. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, we need a two-party system, and we need geographic balance. And I may live in suburban Chicago today, but I have very strong downstate roots. Went to college in the middle of a cornfield in Macomb. My wife and I were married in a small central Illinois 400-person agriculture town called Elkhart in Logan County. And my running mate, Jill Tracy, is a southern Illinoisan who lives in Quincy today, and her family runs what's called Dot Foods, the largest agriculture or food redistributor in America. They employ 1,000 people in tiny Mount Sterling, Illinois, in Brown County, and in Quincy. And in Jill and Kirk Dillard, you get the geographic balance, and we'll be a team for all of Illinois.
How much consideration was that, the fact that she's a woman, that she had deep downstate roots, the fact that she has been from a family that's been successful manufacturers? I'm certain that weighed into your decision making.
The most important thing was I wanted to make sure that if something happened to me, God forbid, that she could be the governor. And she's a tested and proven 7-year member of the Illinois House, but that business background, and she shares my economic vision of Illinois, which is something I call making Illinois a destination economy for people that create jobs. I mean, every day, I start my morning with a butcher block that comes from here in Effingham, and I like a state that builds things. And Jill knows what it's like to have to compete with other states around us, whether it's Indiana to the east of here, or over in Quincy it's Missouri, or my mom is from Kentucky. We're in a competitive environment against the rest of the Midwest, and I've got to reduce the cost of doing business in Illinois. We are overtaxed, we overspend, we're way overregulated, and Jill Tracy shares my economic vision of Illinois, and the fact that she's from downstate Illinois or southern Illinois, a native of southern Illinois, and happens to be a woman, is just icing on the cake.
Is it, or maybe I should ask, how will it be different to campaign for the Republican nomination and then campaign in November?
It's different. I mean, I'm true to my principles. I mean, I don't change where I'm at on issues for a Republican primary, which is obviously a much more conservative base. And I'm the person that was endorsed by a 40-person, almost unanimously conservative summit the other day. Whether it's a Tea Party group from Peoria, the Christian groups, the pro-life groups. I'm the one candidate that most of the major conservative groups in Illinois have coalesced around, but I'm a Republican that's electable. Both Jim Thompson and Jim Edgar have said I'm the only Republican that can win the nomination. So it's not just enough to select anybody. You do have to have a governor that can govern when I get there, but I'm somebody who follows the right template. A suburbanite with very strong downstate roots is the winning combination. I'll be able to run well enough in that big place called Cook County to keep the tsunami from overcoming me as the nominee of the Republican Party. And last time I came within 193 votes of winning the Republican primary against my friend and colleague Bill Brady, and I had 5 people from my home county of DuPage. Wheaton is our county seat. It's the home of the Billy Graham Center, Wheaton College, and also, if you're a U of I fan, Red Grange. But I had 5 people from DuPage running last time. I still came within 193 votes. So I like my chances. I know of the Eastern Illinois area very well, and you worked for Jim Edgar for all those years. This is the Jim Edgar wheelhouse from Charleston up in Coles County down through here, and David Rice from St. Marie and Jasper County has endorsed my candidacy, as his former Senator John O. Jones, who is very much responsible for some of the great infrastructure improvements to keep Effingham the crossroads of this area. So I'm no stranger to Eastern Illinois. In fact, the staffer that's here with me today is from Jasper County, and you'll see me and my family and Jill Tracy a lot after we're elected governor and lieutenant governor.
You touched on these matters earlier. We're still at 9% unemployment in Illinois, and it appears maybe there's some sort of resolution to the pension crisis, but it appears to still be some time off in the distance before any of these things are going to happen. Is there some way to spur them along?
Well, I'm just stunned that this pension problem hasn't been taken care of before. I mean, Pat Quinn's now been the governor for 5 years. He's got a party or a legislature made up of his own political party, and then to have it done is unconscionable. And I would have locked everyone in the governor's mansion, all of the interested parties, and said, look, nobody's coming over these big wrought iron gates until we have a solution. The pension crisis is the largest problem that's ever faced the state of Illinois, and Governor Quinn and his Democrat buddies, they want gun control, they want gay marriage, they want all this other stuff, but the pension crisis ought to be the singular focus, because until we solve that problem, we're never going to have enough money for schools, for senior citizens. But our economic development privately, in the private sector, is just stifled. Nobody's going to expand their business or want to move here. People are fleeing because we have this uncertainty, and we have the lowest credit rating of any state in America. So, I would have said nothing is going to happen until pension reform is done. It's the cornerstone of our economic revival, and it's the only way we're going to put the state back on sound fiscal footing in Springfield. And again, I've been there before in a deficit, left a surplus. I know how to make, with a Democrat legislature from Chicago, I know how to make this state work.
We appreciate the visit, and we'll look forward to seeing you again, I'm sure.
No, thank you. I'll be back here many times, and it's great to be here. And I will not be a stranger to this part of the state. Just met with the mayor and your village council in Effingham, and great folks. And I just want to make Illinois work again.
Kirk Dillard is one of the candidates for the Republican nomination for governor in 2014. I'm Greg Sapp.